Hi there, I'm Michelle Rakowski, your guide through the Hack Divorce course, and this is video number 5 in the free foundation section of the course. In this video, we're going to go over some really awesome tools that will help you understand yourself better and perhaps your ex as well. The benefit of using these tools is that they can empower you as you go through your divorce process. This can potentially make things less challenging and hopefully help you to achieve better outcomes. As always, your process is your responsibility, and this course is for informational purposes only. Going through a divorce or separation is likely one of the hardest things you'll ever go through. You're going to feel grief, sadness, anger, frustration, and loss. Some people feel guilty or bad about themselves. There's often blame, even if we're trying really hard to be objective. What I've found over the years is that people who understand who they are, like what kind of personality they have and what their conflict style is, tend to move through this process quicker and with new insights that will help them rebuild the foundations of their life. Sometimes people get worried when I tell them that I want them to take a personality test. The thing here is that it's not a psychological diagnosis or anything like that. There are no right or wrong personality types. A personality test is just something that will help you understand yourself better. As a matter of fact, what I've seen is that after people understand more about their personality, they realize the things that they thought were bad about themselves are actually normal for their personality type, and in many cases, beneficial. Also, understanding your personality better can help you to know your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to negotiating your separation agreement. I think we can all agree that that would be a benefit, right? What's more, if your ex is open to doing a personality test and a conflict style inventory too, you might be able to significantly improve your agreement-making process. The resource that I found to be really well laid out, easy to understand, and free when it comes to discovering your personality type is called 16 Personalities. It's based off of the famous Myers-Briggs type indicator. Please watch the 3-minute explainer video that I've linked below before moving on to do the free test, which is also linked below. Basically, you answer a bunch of questions and the result will not only show you what your personality is, but all about how you operate in relationships, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what your parenting style is, and lots of other very useful information that will help you feel better about yourself and probably give you some insight about how you can help yourself through this really difficult time too. Another aspect that I want you to understand about yourself is how you deal with conflict. Your personality profile will give you ideas about this, but doing a conflict style inventory can be super helpful in other ways. In the resources below, you'll find a downloadable PDF called the Thomas Kilmann Questionnaire. If possible, make a copy of it and use a pen to go through the test. The last sheet of the test will show you how to tally up your answers and discover which conflict styles you're strongest in. Basically, there are 5 primary conflict styles, and most people will tend to be stronger in 1 or 2 of them. Those 5 styles are the 5 C's. Let's have a look at each one briefly. Number 1, competing. Competitors typically value their goals over relationships, meaning that if forced to choose, they would seek to achieve their goals even at the cost of the relationship involved. Competitors are typically more concerned with accomplishing their goals than with being liked by others. They might try to force opponents to accept their solutions to the conflict by overpowering them. Number 2, collaborating. Collaborators highly value both their goals and their relationships. They view conflict as a problem to be solved and seek a solution that achieves both their goals and the goals of the other person. Collaborators see conflicts as a means of improving relationships by reducing tensions between 2 persons. They try to begin a discussion that identifies the conflict as a problem and strive to resolve tensions and maintain the relationship by seeking solutions that satisfy both themselves and the other person. Number 3, compromising. Compromisers are moderately concerned with both their goals and their relationships with others. They typically seek a compromise. They give up part of their goals and persuade the other person in a conflict to give up part of their goals. Compromisers seek a conflict solution in which both sides gain something, the middle ground between 2 extreme positions. They are willing to sacrifice part of their goals in order to find agreement for common good. Number 4, avoiding. Avoiders tend to value avoiding confrontation more than their goals or their relationships. They often find it easier to withdraw from a conflict than to face it. This might even include completely giving up relationships or goals that are associated with the conflict. Number 5, accommodating. Accommodators basically value relationships over their own goals. If forced to choose, they will often sacrifice their goals in order to maintain relationships. Accommodators generally want to be liked by others and prefer to avoid conflict because they believe addressing it will damage relationships. They try to smooth over conflict to prevent damage to the relationship. Like the personality test, there are no good or bad conflict styles. Each conflict style can be a benefit in certain situations and a challenge to work with in others. Being aware of your dominant style will help you to know when to dial it up and assert yourself a bit, or when to dial it down and try to work more cooperatively. Basically, it's up to you to learn how to positively empower yourself and your negotiations by understanding your conflict styles and how they can help or hinder you. I'm going to give you an example of how two people going through a separation could use awareness of their conflict styles to help them negotiate. If one party is really domineering and the other tends to hold back from voicing their desires, the more timid party can end up with some pretty unfulfilling agreements on their behalf. However, if they're aware that they tend to give in when push comes to shove, learning ways to be assertive is going to be super important because making a separation agreement has to reflect what both parties want. On the other hand, if a more domineering party can become aware of their tendencies to dominate decision-making, they can learn to meaningfully involve the other party better, and this could possibly even avoid driving the process to litigation as a result of being too adversarial to work with. Agreements that are made primarily in favor of the more dominant party will be less satisfying for the more timid party in the long run and have a higher chance of being contested or ending up back in a lawyer's or mediator's office. Knowing your conflict style is not only going to help you negotiate your agreement, it will also help you in your parenting, relationships, and work. The last thing I want to talk about in this video that will be a huge help for you is what I call support circles. Nobody should go through life alone, and you especially should not go through a divorce alone. Even if you are more introverted and like to keep to yourself, you will need support. A support circle is usually composed of people in your life that you know, but they may not necessarily know each other. These are people you feel safe with, who understand you, and who will step in to give you help in practical ways and emotional ways. Supportive people will tell you things you need to hear, but they also know how to help you hear the things you may not want to hear. This is really important because when you're going through a divorce, some family and friends will say a lot of negative things about your ex or your situation, believing themselves to be helpful. But this is not helpful, and it's really important that you make some boundaries around these types of behaviors. The best supportive people will keep you on track with staying objective and positive while acknowledging the difficulty of your situation. They are also good problem solvers and may see helpful solutions that you won't be able to discover on your own. So take stock of who these people are and intentionally ask them to be part of your support circle, and remember to also show them gratitude for caring for you. So we've touched on 3 simple but powerful ways that you can really help yourself personally as you navigate through your separation. To help you bring it all together, I've included a worksheet with this video where you will answer some thoughtful questions about your support circle, your personality type, and your conflict style. This video concludes the free Foundations module of the Hack Divorce course. I hope that you found the information, worksheets, and lists I've given you to be helpful. The next step in helping yourself chart a solid course through your divorce is to purchase the Financials module and the Parenting module of this course. You'll find helpful links and information about each of these next sections to the Hack Divorce course and the topics that they cover in the resources section below. It's my sincere hope for you that you find your way through this difficult time in the best of ways possible, and that as you work through the really hard stuff, you also lay a solid foundation for the new life that you're creating for yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the Financials and Parenting modules of the Hack Divorce course.